Have you ever wondered, why do some people in our lives only appear when they need something from you? They seem careless in taking, but never giving. The world is not as perfect as we imagine. People often wear a mask of sophistication to cleverly achieve personal benefits. No matter how kind or generous you are, there will always be those who take advantage of you. Some actions are obvious, but there are also more subtle individuals who make you unaware that you are being used. Today, we will explore together 10 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you. I want to emphasize that what we are discussing here is not for judgment or condemnation, but to understand the nature of human beings better and how we can confront these situations with strength and composure. Let's find out how to detect warning signs of these people, establish strong boundaries, and nurture a resilient spirit in the face of life's challenges. Before we begin, I suggest that you commit to watching this entire video because all the information is incredibly important and will strongly impact you. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's move on to the first attitude right away. Number 1. The persistent lack of respect. In the complex context of a relationship, lack of respect is not just a passing behavior, but a continuous series of actions that reflect a cold and indifferent attitude. A true friend or a loyal companion always adheres to the principle of respect in their actions, showing consideration and shared responsibility regularly. However, those who frequently take advantage of you often disregard these basic boundaries. This attitude, upon closer observation, forms a pattern of behavior that demonstrates selfishness and a lack of consideration. They often unfairly criticize you, no matter how hard you try. They belittle your efforts, sometimes even mocking or humiliating you in front of others. Imagine facing situations where your plans are abruptly cancelled or others are consistently late. It seems there's an expectation that you must adapt to their convenience and preferences. These behaviors indicate that you are not valued by that person. The most dangerous aspect of this lack of respect is its profound impact on your self-esteem and self-confidence. You may begin to doubt your abilities and self-worth, feeling unappreciated and insignificant. This can lead to feelings of despair, loss of direction, and even depression. However, it's important to acknowledge that imperfection is a human trait. The difference between someone taking advantage of you and others is the persistence of these actions over time, coupled with a lack of awareness or effort to change. Life is constantly changing and evolving, and many people feel trapped in an endless cycle of trying to please others and seeking acceptance, only to be continuously rejected and disregarded. The important thing is to recognize that you deserve respect and care. You should not accept any form of treatment that is less than that. Your life is like a journey on a ship, and you are the captain of that journey. Discover your true worth and rebuild your confidence from that understanding. Number 2. Failure to fulfill promises. Promises, one of the powerful statements to commit and maintain a good relationship, but also easily shaken and broken. Those who take advantage of you often make false promises, always prioritizing someone or something else over you. Imagine your relationship as a stage performance where words play the main role and actions are just forgotten scripts. Those who break promises often play a perfect role in the daily drama. Colleagues, friends, even family members. They appear caring, promise to be your companion, and support in every situation. However, reality is often different. They may promise to help you in a project, support you in a difficult situation, or simply spend time talking and sharing. But the important thing is, when it comes to action and fulfilling promises, they often become vague, like actors who can't perform well on stage. They want those promises to seem to disappear, leaving you disappointed and betrayed. Therefore, breaking promises becomes an important test. It distinguishes those who value relationships as a two-way street of mutual respect and support from those who only see relationships as a way to exploit personal benefits. For those who have been abandoned, the experience often brings painful but valuable lessons. Not all promises are built on a foundation of honesty and integrity. Faced with these situations, we need to learn how to recognize and set boundaries in relationships. This not only helps us avoid being used, but also develops self-esteem and autonomy in relationships. Sometimes it is important to say no or maintain distance from those who only want to use us without proportional reciprocity. Identifying and staying away from unhealthy relationships early on not only helps us protect ourselves, but also allows us to devote time and energy to more worthy and meaningful relationships. The important thing to remember is that your worth is not dependent on what others receive from you, but on what you know about yourself and do for yourself. Number 3. Constant competition. We're all very familiar with the game of chess, where each move is carefully calculated, not only to improve one's own position, but also to strategically undermine the opponent. Similarly, in our relationships, there are individuals with hidden motives who often treat your relationship as a strategic game. In this type of relationship, you often feel undervalued and unappreciated. The other person frequently appears competitive, not only in necessary situations, but also in normal circumstances, making you feel uneasy and tense. They not only do not listen to your opinions, but also frequently interrupt or devalue what you say. This constant competition manifests in various forms. In personal relationships, this person often elevates themselves and belittles you, even in the smallest achievements. When you accomplish something, instead of sharing joy, they become envious or attempt to diminish your achievements. In a professional environment, they often use tactics like excuses, distorting the truth, or even lying to maintain their dominant position in meetings. This not only erodes your trust, but also creates a tense and unsafe atmosphere. Even in regular conversations, you can clearly see when they try to prove themselves as better, smarter, or more successful. This behavior stems from deep-seated insecurity and distorted views of personal worth. They assess their self-worth based on surpassing others rather than individual achievements. This turns every interaction into a competition where they must win, and others, in this case, you, must lose. It's a mindset that obscures shared development in favor of appearing outstanding and superior. This relationship not only lacks the necessary support and encouragement, but also contains harmful competition that negatively affects your spirit and health. It creates a permanently tense environment where true cooperation or support is replaced by competition. Your achievements are not praised, but seen as a challenge to their dominance, and your difficulties are not met with empathy, but viewed as an opportunity for them to gain an advantage. Recognizing and understanding this behavioral pattern is important. It helps us set boundaries and, if possible, adjust the relationship to make it healthier. This process also includes realizing that the foundation of every relationship should be built on respect and mutual support, rather than an endless race for superiority. Number 4. The lack of detailed personal interest. In social relationships, another prominent warning sign is the lack of detailed personal interest. This is not only a sign of indifference, but also reflects a lack of respect and emotional connection. When someone doesn't take the time to understand and care about the small things in your life, it often indicates that they see this relationship as a means to their own ends, rather than a two-way bond. You may notice that they often forget details you've shared, such as interests, dreams, or even fears. Important days for you, like birthdays or anniversaries, may also be overlooked by them. This not only makes you feel neglected, but also worthless in their eyes. Furthermore, this lack of interest is evident in how they react to your emotions. They may dismiss or belittle your worries and sorrows, even considering those emotions as bothersome or unimportant. This not only makes you feel lonely in the relationship, but can also create a negative environment where you don't feel safe to express yourself. A specific example of the lack of personal interest could be when you have a friend who only cares about their own matters and never asks about your life, your emotions, or your dreams. In this relationship, you feel like a mere audience to their story, with no genuine interest in you. This lack of interest is a clear signal that your value to this person is based on what you can contribute, rather than who you are. In such cases, it's important to ask yourself, is this relationship worth continuing to invest emotions and time in? Care and interest don't always have to be demonstrated through grand gestures, but can be found in the smallest details, such as listening, remembering, and caring about the other person's emotions. The absence of these things can be a sign that you need to reevaluate the value of this relationship in your life. The lack of personal interest in a relationship is a warning sign that we need to reconsider our connections and seek an environment where we are valued and respected. If you've come this far, you are one of the few who are truly seeking personal growth. Number 5. Superficial bonding and its implications. In the context of a relationship where one person only uses you and doesn't care about you, superficial connection is often a common phenomenon. This sign is particularly dangerous because it conceals the true nature of the relationship. Those who exploit you often avoid building a deep and meaningful connection. This behavior is reflected in interactions that rarely go beyond the surface. This type of relationship can take many forms, from a friend who is not truly interested in your feelings to a colleague who only contacts you when they need help. Even in family or romantic relationships, this can occur when one person focuses solely on what they can get without considering the emotions or needs of the other person. In such relationships, we can sense the lack of genuine attachment and the absence of concern for the other person's feelings or well-being. Those who use you often see you as a means to achieve their personal goals, without caring about the consequences or the impact of their actions on you. They may show concern or friendliness when necessary, but this attitude is often not long-lasting or sincere. One of the major issues in this type of relationship is that it can have negative effects on the mental health and self-esteem of the person being used. When you constantly feel unappreciated or uncared for, you may begin to doubt your own worth and feel powerless to change the situation. Facing such a relationship requires courage and self-awareness. It's important to recognize your own personal value and worthwhile setting clear boundaries. You need to courageously ask yourself questions like, am I investing my time and energy in a meaningful relationship? And am I compromising my self-esteem to maintain a superficial relationship? Remember that you deserve genuine and trustworthy relationships. Recognizing the signs of a superficial relationship is the first step in protecting your mind and soul. Moreover, it's also an opportunity for you to seek more valuable relationships where you can truly share and experience reciprocity and depth. Number 6. Emotional manipulation. One of the prominent characteristics of a person who uses you and doesn't care about you is the ability to manipulate emotions subtly. They often use your emotions as a tool to achieve their personal goals. This is evident in how they create situations that make you feel confused, guilty, or ashamed. They know how to use words or actions to stimulate emotional reactions from you, making it easy to control or influence your decisions. The methods of emotional manipulation can be quite diverse and sophisticated. Sometimes they will excessively praise you to make you feel indebted to them, and then use this to demand things beyond your limits. They may employ the isolate and conquer strategy, where they try to weaken your relationships with others, making you feel isolated and more susceptible to their influence. The consequences of emotional manipulation are not only a loss of trust and self-esteem, but also a loss of faith in the ability to assess the character of others. You may find yourself trapped, not knowing how to escape from this toxic relationship because you have been deceived and manipulated to the point where you can't recognize the true situation. In relationships involving psychological manipulation, the balance of power always tilts in favor of the manipulator. They decide when to show affection and when to withdraw it, causing your target to lose their equilibrium. In summary, emotional manipulation is not about mutual growth or support. Instead, it is about the manipulator only caring about satisfying their own needs, without considering the psychological well-being of others. To recognize psychological manipulation, you need to have keen awareness to detect the interaction patterns that constantly play with your emotions. This requires self-exploration to better understand how these interactions affect you and your mood. Number 7. Making you feel guilty. In an unequal relationship where you feel used without being cared for, feelings of guilt can turn into frequent behavior. The person using this tactic is skilled at manipulation, exploiting your sense of responsibility, empathy, or fairness. They may constantly complain or express disappointment about what you do or don't do, putting emotional and psychological pressure on you. They may say that you're not good enough or that you can't meet their expectations, making you feel like you can never satisfy them. This approach to inducing guilt is often subtle and dangerous. Sometimes they even use specific situations to make you feel guilty, such as emphasizing times when you need their help and making it seem like a burden. They may use phrases like, "After everything I've done for you, is this how you treat me?" to make you feel indebted and unable to refuse their requests. Additionally, they may make you feel guilty about things unrelated to them, such as personal choices or relationships with others. They use this tactic to isolate you, reduce your ability to seek support or advice from friends or family. This strategy works well because it exploits a fundamental aspect of human nature, the desire to see oneself as good, helpful, and caring. By making you feel guilty, the person using this tactic turns these commendable qualities into tools to control you. The result is that you do things not because you want to, but because you feel obligated, often leading to feelings of anger or exhaustion. Most importantly, this attitude not only creates a harmful psychological environment, but can also lead to deep and long-lasting damage to your mental health. You may become less confident, always feeling uncertain and insecure. This can also affect your ability to build and maintain healthy relationships in the future. Recognizing when someone is using guilt to control you is extremely important for protecting your privacy and mental well-being. Identifying and dealing with this manipulation tactic plays a crucial role in building healthy relationships based on respect, genuine care, and free choice, rather than being bound by obligation and guilt. Number 8. Lack of genuine support. Let's explore the 8th element, an attitude that we can clearly observe in our personal relationships. That is the lack of genuine support. In relationships, you often sense indifference and a lack of commitment from the other person. They may be present when they need something from you, but when you need them, they are absent or indifferent, only showing up when they see personal benefits. In relationships like these, your goals, projects, and challenges often face coldness or mere symbolic gestures of support. The other person may not fully support your plans, offering superficial well-wishes or expressing support in words only. Support, if it exists, is often superficial and does not come from the heart. This not only creates a distance in the relationship, but also makes you feel unappreciated or undervalued. A true friend will stand by you in all circumstances, not just when they need you, but in this case, you often feel alone, especially in difficult times. Furthermore, the lack of genuine support can make you feel lonely and helpless. You realize that you cannot rely on their genuine care, and this can have many negative effects on your mood and mental health. You may begin to doubt your worth and feel undeserving of love, leading to a negative cycle of low self-esteem and a lack of trust in relationships. The reason for this lack of support is their focus on their own self-interests. They view the relationship as a transaction, evaluating emotional investment based on personal returns. This attitude creates an imbalance, with one side constantly contributing while the other side only receives, often leaving a sense of being undervalued and forgotten. Recognizing this lack of genuine support is crucial to understanding the nature of your relationship with that person. This requires an honest assessment of reciprocity in your interactions. Identifying and addressing this lack of support is an important factor in ensuring you invest your time and energy in nurturing and supportive relationships. Number 9. Willingness to choose. In the complex world of human relationships, we often encounter another important warning sign: readiness to choose. This issue becomes evident when someone can easily approach us, when they need help, but becomes strange and difficult to approach when we need them. Think about the following situation. You often find yourself in a position to help others, responding to various requests. This may involve your willingness to listen and provide emotional support, do small tasks, or dedicate your time and care to them. However, when you feel vulnerable and in need of help, others often remain silent. They do not respond to your messages, do not call back, or at best, avoid discussing the topic. That's how they behave in that situation. This behavioral pattern creates an asymmetrical situation where the ratio of giving and receiving is skewed. You feel like you're walking on a one-way street, where all your dedication and concern flow in one direction without reciprocation. This pattern not only reveals a lack of consideration, but also intentional disregard for your needs and feelings. Readiness to choose, therefore, acts as a mirror, reflecting an uncomfortable truth. The person is only present when it suits their interests. Relationships become like an imbalanced scale where one party's needs are consistently overlooked. Recognizing and facing this reality is an important step. The question is whether we are truly engaging in a reciprocal and enriching relationship, or if we are merely a convenience to meet the needs of others. This situation raises questions about our self-esteem and self-respect, requiring us to reconsider personal boundaries and whether genuine reciprocity and respect are shared values in this relationship. Number 10. Absence in crucial moments. Finally, in a relationship where you are merely a means to an end for someone else, their absence at crucial moments in your life is an undeniable sign. This becomes evident when they are not there, when you need someone to share the joy of an achievement or seek comfort in difficult times. These moments, from celebrating a special event to overcoming a personal challenge, require the support and presence of loved ones. Imagine you are facing one of those challenging moments and expecting support and empathy from a friend or partner whom you consider as a friend. However, instead of support, you encounter a void. That person is conspicuously absent, providing only superficial comfort or generic words that seem more like a formality than a genuine gesture of empathy. However, this person often justifies their absence with vague or unreasonable excuses. Perhaps they are busy with work or other relationships, but they never make an effort to make time for you in crucial moments. This action not only demonstrates a lack of respect for you, but also clearly shows that you are not a priority in their life. Their continuous absence also reveals a painful truth. This relationship primarily revolves around individual benefits rather than genuine care. When you need support, they are not there, but when they need something from you, they suddenly appear with numerous demands and expectations. This creates a transactional pattern where you feel used and undervalued. Facing important moments Without their support and presence, you can clearly sense the absence of a genuine and profound connection. Over time, this can lead to a loss of trust and a feeling of loneliness, even when you are in a relationship. You deserve to be loved and cared for genuinely, not just as a tool for others to achieve their goals. Remember, every individual deserves respect and equitable treatment in their relationships. Recognizing and addressing situations where your interests are not considered important is crucial for strengthening your mental well-being. Learning how to cope with these challenges helps us build and maintain healthy, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, empathy, and effective communication. When we face individuals who only view us as tools for their purposes, nothing is more painful than realizing that we are mere shadows in their lives. But don't forget that your worth does not depend on how others treat you. It lies in your essence and is affirmed by how you stand in situations lacking respect or care. Through the 10 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you, this is not only a wake-up call, but also an encouragement for you to stand strong, face, and escape from toxic relationships. If you find empathy and strength in our sharing, please like and share this video. Let's spread the message of love and respect together and create a strong community where everyone knows how to stand firm in the face of life's challenges. Leave a comment below the video to share your views with us today. Remember, the key to healthy and meaningful relationships lies in recognizing, taking action, and, above all, respecting yourself and others. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos where we explore and build sincere and sustainable relationships together.